Well, the stereotype of the typical gun owner is changing. Um, and I've said this to the point of redundancy. I believe anybody of the appropriate age, short, tall, fat, thin, black, white, I don't care. I think everybody should be armed. If I also believe they need to take training, demonstrate some proficiency, so they don't end up blowing themselves up, because it's easy to do, especially with some firearms. But one particular group that you might not expect after the country faced waves of civil unrest, panic buying, the pandemic, the number of people in this group who own guns rose substantially nationwide. In some cases, according to the National Shooting Sports Foundation, they found that in 2021, this one particular group buying guns shot up 87%. Well, to tell us who that is, we turn to Emily Taylor. She's an attorney with Walker and Taylor, PLLC, a gun expert. Her firm has a very popular YouTube channel called Armed Attorneys, and it routinely gets tens of thousands of views per video. Ms. Taylor, excuse me, counselor, are you with me?
I am, yes, sir.
All right. You want to tell folks what group we're talking about?
Yes, we have seen something like an 87% spike in new gun purchases, not just amongst women, but amongst African American women, which is an interesting continuation of this trend we saw starting in about 2015 and 16. If you started going to gun stores around then, you saw what we generally refer to as the pink it and shrink it trend. You saw lots of small pink firearms meant to draw women into firearm ownership. And boy, did it work. And now we're seeing not just women, but women of color who traditionally are not the people we think of as embracing their Second Amendment rights, saying, this is my Second Amendment too, and I'm going to go for it.
If you step back for a second and think about it, it just makes sense. As I said before, short, tall, fat, thin, man, woman, black, white, it shouldn't matter. The Bill of Rights, Constitution, Declaration of Independence, it's for everyone. And with everything going crazy, especially after George Floyd, I can see why people would start arming themselves.
Absolutely. We are all affected equally by rising crime and rising physical insecurity about our safety. And so we've got, nothing turns an anti-gunner into a two-way activist faster than being robbed or being attacked or being the victim of crime. And so what we're seeing is people saying, look, there's, a rising crime wave. We've got places all over the country defunding the police, tying their hands. They're not going to come save me. I have to be able to protect myself. And that is something, we all in this country deserve that physical safety. We all want it for ourselves and our families. And we are seeing it amongst, in fact, not just the Black community, but lots of minority communities right now as well, embracing that same Second Amendment right.
I've thought about this a lot, and again, it's something I say, sort of a mantra, and you'll have to excuse my voice. Somehow I got a huge cold overnight, but we are our own first responders. And I've said it 1,000 times. You hear somebody breaking in downstairs, it's 4 a.m, you get up, you grab your cell phone, your weapon, you check to make sure the kids are where they're supposed to be in bed, and your spouse, and then take up a position between the perceived threat and your family, and dial 911 and hope they get there before you have to do something. But we are our own first responder, and I don't know that that message has necessarily gotten through like it should.
It has not, but it needs to. And here's another message I want people to hear. And I can tell you this from being a former felony prosecutor. So I saw a lot of crime. And I will tell you that criminals are smart. And we like to think that they're not, but they know who they want their victim to be. And if they think, first of all, if they're just looking at a big man versus a small woman, they're going to victimize the small woman because she can't fight back as well. If they are looking at someone who they think has a firearm on them versus someone they think does not, they're going to pick that person who's not carrying a gun, who cannot defend themselves. So the more we all carry, the more we all embrace this, the safer we all are as a community.
I had to laugh. I come from a law enforcement family, raised by my grandfather, a high sheriff of Sedgwick County. All my cousins worked in Rampart and L.A. and so on. But I used to skeet shoot on a regular basis in tournaments. And I'd always ask my daughter, do you want to go with me? Oh, no, I don't like guns. No. Okay, all right, that's fine. I'm not going to push that on you. Well, then she eventually ended up getting married to a guy just back from Iraq, went through the academy. Now he's a sergeant with the K-9 division with the police department. And I get this text, Dad, you've got to see what her husband got her for her birthday. I don't think it was Christmas. I think it was a birthday. It was a pink camo AR. Wait a minute. This girl didn't want to go with me in my over-under to shoot skeet, but she's, beaming proud with this camo pink AR-15. And I'm thinking, I guess people come around to things, in their own time. But it looks like maybe the gun industry is catering a little bit to more women.
Absolutely. And that's necessary because think about your daughter and how difficult it was to get her introduction into that world. And she had you to rely on, and then luckily later her husband. But for lots of people, they don't have that family background. They don't have someone safe who they can trust to get them into it and show them the basics and take them to the range the first time. And so not only are we starting to cater in the products as the gun industry, but also in the training and the groups. You will see lots of women's groups. You'll see lots of first-time shooter groups, things and groups that are not intimidating. They're ready to help. Half the women's groups bring bottles of wine for after the range, of course. And you get some social time there as well. It is so important. And for those people in your life who maybe don't have that good introduction, just get on the web, start looking at those local mom and pop ranges and see what they offer, because I guarantee they've got something like that.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure they do. I know Nathan Jones. He's the president of the Bay Area chapter of the Black Gun Owners Association. I guess he did an interview with KCBS. And their organization provides gun safety education and so on, which is a good thing, because the last thing I think people need to do is just go to a gun shop, buy a gun with no training, take it home, and then have to try and figure out how it all works under pressure when something bad happens. That's the last time you want to be dealing with a firearm.
Absolutely. And although constitutional carry is the law of the land in Texas, we still issue licenses, and I will tell you, it is a phenomenal idea, not just for the training, because of course the tactical and physical training in the licensing class is minimal, but they're going to talk to you about the law. They're going to educate you there, and having a license is just a good step generally. You are going to know what you don't know, and of course, those officers who might pull you over, they're going to see that you're a registered good guy, essentially. And I'll tell you, as your attorney who's defending you in court after you have to shoot someone in self-defense, I want that jury to see that you've taken every safety and training step that you can take, and that includes that license to carry.
That's a good point. Very good point. Emily Taylor, attorney with Walker and Taylor, PLLC, and gun expert. I've appreciated you taking some time. If people want to check out your YouTube channel, how do they do that?
Absolutely. It is youtube.com/armed attorneys.
All right. YouTube.com, armed attorneys. I'm going to check that out this evening, as a matter of fact. I've enjoyed talking with you. Hopefully we can talk again.
I sure hope so. Thank you so much.